getting cooking here, though.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Yesterday when I was heading back to the office, it said 91 in the truck, and I believed it.
Yeah.
Sending it home.
It's still cooler than 109 in California.
All right, 1212, we're recording locally.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, we're rolling.
So I'm looking at the trees over the pass and slowly watching them die from either western spruce budworm or Douglas fir beetle. A majority of the trees up here are Douglas fir.
Adam Moore observes the forest a little differently than most people.
Adam Moore, supervisory forester for the Colorado State Forest Service based in Alamosa, but I also oversee our Salida field office.
In the early mornings of 2014, as he drove Highway 285 across Poncha Pass, he noticed that something was off.
So it's a critical moment in Colorado's forests. Years of persistent drought have stressed forests all across the state.
Traditional sawmill to adopt a process that uses radio frequency technology.
The bark of the Douglas fir is dark brown to gray with light brown to red fissures.
First step to managing your forest is to contact a professional forester.
Is that relationship that we as people have with the natural world.
We're sitting around here with a lot of dead and dying timber, which was in a scary state.
We're really trying to take a pretty holistic look at the ecology of the area that we're working.
We want interns to feel like they have a really well-rounded experience.
They became a lot more efficient with the tools.
That tree is easily over 100 years old. That tree was removed tomorrow. You and I would never see a tree that big there again. Think about it. You're investing in the future here, not just for yourself, but for everyone.
Welcome to Forest FM, the official podcast of the Colorado State Forest Service at Colorado State University. My name is Matt McCombs, State Forester and Director of the Colorado State Forest Service. Today, we're traveling down to a small mountain crossing outside of Salida, Colorado, to take you behind the scenes of a critical forest management project, one that is emblematic of the work we're doing all across Colorado. Colorado residents living in the wildland-urban interface are experiencing year-round wildfire risk. Persistent drought and climate change are making the problem worse and opening the door to infestation from insects and disease. Thinning dead trees can be an important step in reducing wildfire risk while promoting forest health at the same time. The story you're about to hear isn't just about wildfire. It's also about people coming together to leave things better than they found them. And it'll help you understand what it looks like when land managers and landowners work together to make the best decisions for a given area. Stay with us to the end to find out how to learn more about projects like this and how you can do your part to protect your home, your community, and help us make Colorado wildfire ready.
My name is Field Peterson. I'm a forestry communication specialist with the Colorado State Forest Service. This week, we're talking about a really special project. When insect outbreaks devastated an entire forest, a collaborative response helped to reduce wildfire risk for residents in the wildland-urban interface. Let's get into it. The usual sea of green was fading to brown, with dead and dying trees dotting the steep hillsides of the small mountain crossing nestled between the San Luis Valley and Arkansas River Valley. By 2020, most of those trees were dead. Poncha Pass is particularly unique. The area spreads across the Rio Grande and Arkansas watersheds, split between Saguache and Chaffee counties. Highway 285 cuts the valley right down the middle into east and west sections. Poncha Pass is home to many full-time residents, while recreators flock to the hundreds of acres of Bureau of Land Management land on the weekends. After surveying the area with other foresters, Moore realized the implications of the declining forest health.
It's a critical corridor for transportation for material goods and then just people if they need to evacuate the San Luis Valley. And then even more on top of that is there's some critical power lines that come over the pass in the treatment area as well. So we had a lot of reasons coming together on what we could do and why we wanted to treat up on the top of the pass here.
CSFS foresters worried that the forest would become increasingly unhealthy and eventually turn into a tinderbox for wildfire. It was clear that something needed to be done. Residents of Poncha Pass were witnessing the decline of the health of the forests on their own properties. One of those residents was Rick Shovald.
I'm Rick Shovald, and my wife and I have lived up here for 7 years. Yeah, both Deb and I, that was one of our biggest concerns, especially after the Decker fire, was like, how do we get out of here?
Like all of their neighbors, Poncha Pass was their only main escape route in the event of a wildfire. And right now, it was entirely flanked by dead and dying trees.
We were sitting around here with a lot of dead and dying timber, which was at the scary state.
These concerns were especially alarming for residents who had experienced the 2019 Decker fire as it burned nearly 9,000 acres of wilderness on the other side of the mountains. Dead and dying trees killed by beetles provided a lot of the fuel for those flames. The insects responsible are native Colorado species, but they're spreading to problematic levels in part due to drought that has weakened trees across the state. Western spruce budworm eats and defoliates a tree's leaves over the course of several years, making it vulnerable to attack. Then Douglas fir beetle enters and kills the stressed tree. This combination has been decimating Colorado forests in recent years, resulting in dead and dying trees across entire forests. Trees killed by beetles provide a stockpile of fuels that can easily ignite. As a fire gains intensity, wind can lift flames into surrounding tree crowns. After severe wildfire, soil loses its ability to absorb water, where loose sediment can wash down into valleys, into drinking water, and irrigation channels. Promoting forest health is essential, but protecting homes and communities from wildfire is also a key goal. Dry fuel conditions, risk of home ignition, potential loss of evacuation routes, and sediment movement into watersheds, these are all factors to watch out for. And with a year-round wildfire season in Colorado, there could be serious ramifications if a wildfire occurs. The best way to improve the health of the forest on Poncha Pass was to remove sick and dying trees to help reduce the spread of insects to the rest of the area.
Yeah, up here, the Douglas fir beetle has gotten to sort of what we would consider an epidemic population level.
That's Josh Keene, CSFS forester who oversees the private acres of this project.
Where we were seeing 60, 70, even 80% mortality of our Douglas fir in some of the acres up here.
Alongside local entities and partners, Adam Moore and the CSFS staff developed a management plan to address the forest based on ownership type. This was made possible with funding from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation Restore Grants, Great Outdoors Colorado, Chaffee Common Ground Funds, U.S. Forest Service Western Bark Beetle Funds, and congressionally delegated matching funds led by Senator Bennett. With this funding, CSFS staff were able to discuss forest health issues with Poncha Pass landowners and offer treatments to reduce their wildfire risk at no cost to them.
And so that gave us some of the ability to be able to reach out to the landowners and say, hey, you're a priority location in the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. You have these insect and disease issues going on.
CSFS foresters worked closely with landowners, including Shovald, to design specific plans to improve forest health locally by removing dead and dying trees.
Yeah, we're really trying to take a pretty holistic look at the ecology of the area that we're working in and trying to serve those ecosystems.
Within a year, the forest started to look significantly different.
My wife and I are like, this is beyond what we ever imagined. We knew we had to thin trees out. We knew it wasn't going to be pretty. We thinned trees out, and it's more beautiful than it ever was.
A healthy forest is one that's resilient in the face of wildfire, insects, and diseases. Foresters can help ensure that the forest is structured to prevent widespread mortality from insect epidemics and severe wildfire, which can include removing infected trees. Local contractors have worked on small stretches of land at a time, using a combination of machines and handwork. Careful, selective cuts ensure that there is minimal disturbance to the forest. Much of the timber is then sent to mills within 100 miles of the area. Slash or non-marketable limbs are left on site and turned into mulch to help retain moisture. This helps promote nutrient cycling and the growth of grasses and forbs to support restoration efforts. Thanks to this work, there will be fewer dead trees to fuel severe wildfire in this area. It'll also be safer to evacuate the area and easier for firefighters to suppress flames.
I feel like I have a real good fighting chance. And from my perspective, originally, or my ignorance, I wasn't looking at fire mitigation. I was looking at a healthy forest. They run hand in hand. I've gotten an education in that too.
There is more work ahead on Poncha Pass as the CSFS continues to support and coordinate projects alongside the Bureau of Land Management. But for now, residents like Shovald have some peace of mind, and the forests can return to shades of green once more. To explore the feature article about this project and see photographs of the work on Poncha Pass, visit our website. We also have resources where you can learn more about forest health, insects and diseases, wildfire mitigation, and living in the wildland-urban interface. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Forest FM. To learn more about the podcast and the Colorado State Forest Service, please visit our website at csfs.colostate.edu. Take care, and we'll catch you next time.